Hello, good evening. It is Tuesday. It's just got 8 o'clock. It can only mean one thing. It is, of course, the Tuesday Clinic. A lot to talk about, obviously, in the world of Arsenal. As always, there always seems to be some sort of story, some drama. And, of course, this week is no different, as we know. I'm pretty sure you've all been following social media the last few days. Been a bit of a meltdown due to our famous club. Everybody seems to have something to say about Arsenal, don't they, no matter what team they support. So, obviously, we've got a lot to talk about as well. We'll get started the other side of this. So it's the Tuesday Clinic. Good to have the panel on. Just need to say that obviously no one involved from the panel on this channel is going to prison for any reason. So that's get out of the way nice and early. There is a petition in the chat as well about getting a certain YouTube channel away from filming inside the ground. So please sign that as well. It's set up by the Gunners Pub, of course, everyone knows. Great pub near to Highbury. So definitely get involved with that. Now, obviously, it's been a busy week, so it's good to have the guys back on the show again. Melvin, of course, as always, how are you doing this week?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Got a bit of a cold, but, I still feel right. I didn't want it to get cancelled this week. We didn't want to cancel it, go to the league and cancel it tonight, so I thought I'd better come on.
Exactly, yeah. You got to brave through these things, You can't just throw in the towel too easily. That's a good to see that you're doing okay. Adam as well. Good to have you back, mate. Are you all right?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Good to be back. Missed it last week. Struggling to think what we can talk about this week.
We'll have to dig deep somewhere to get out a few topics that we can talk about. And Dorsey, of course, as well. How you doing, mate? You all right?
All good, mate. Yeah, not too bad at all.
Excellent. So, I suppose really there's so many different topics maybe that are on the list. I suppose what we should perhaps do is maybe try and do things a little bit chronologically, maybe to try and have some sort of order. So I guess the place to start will be, it seems like about a month ago, but it was only actually 5 days ago, the first leg of the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Well, that game on its own, we could probably talk about it for about 2 hours. It seemed to have so many different incidents and events in the game. And, of course, it turned out to be a fantastic Arsenal performance in the end with 10 men against the odds. Brilliant defensive performance. And even we had one or two opportunities. We could have maybe nicked a win as well, which would have been fantastic. But that was probably, on the sort of back of the Man City performance not too long ago, that again was another really, really good performance against a good team, against all the odds, really. An injury early on to Cedric Suarez, of course, had to make an early change, and then the Granit Xhaka red card, and after that it was just an unbelievable effort from every single player, the substitutes as well, to keep Liverpool out. The first time they've not scored at home this season at Anfield, so it just goes to show what a great performance that was with 10 players. Melvin, that was incredible performance, wasn't it? Every single one of them stood up to be counted, and they came out with a fantastic result in the end.
Yeah, it was lovely to see. I must admit, I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it afterwards. I enjoyed it, if you know what I mean. But while sitting there watching it, I wasn't actually enjoying it, if that makes sense. Though I was proud of what they were doing. At any time you thought they're going to get a dodgy penalty or something. You really did think that. But no, it was amazing. Just to single out a couple of players, know that Ben White got all the plaudits, and rightly so, he was terrific. But I thought Tierney was outstanding on that left-hand side. They never got past him. He was on one-on-ones. He won every single thing. And what I liked about it, I know someone say it's a bit Hackney Marshes, if you like, but he give it the old 50-yarder up the other end of the field so that we could take the brick and move up a bit, chill out, get ourselves, and let's start again. I thought that was brilliant. And I tell you who done very well. I didn't realise it till analysing again in my brain after the game. I thought Lokonga done well, because normally he'd be dribbling there, going across the halfway line. He had a job to do. They must have told him, look, now that the game has changed, you've got to sit and just soak up everything. And I thought he showed great maturity, which he doesn't normally show in that performance. I thought that was superb. But as you say, they all played well. Couldn't have a go at any of them. The one worry was that Klopp was in the chat with Saka. I didn't like that. I thought that was because Saka was outstanding. I know he could have scored. I know this, that, and that, but he seemed to take on the Liverpool left-hand side defence by himself. Especially when we're down to 10 men, and he showed a little bit of steel, which he doesn't. He give a little bit back. Saka, last couple of games, he's given a bit back, which I like to see. So, I mean, and Robertson, he made him look silly, and Robertson's a very good full-back. I know he's excellent going forward as well, but as a defender, he's quite good. But he just seemed to never let him get the ball. It was terrific to see. And he always had 2 or 3 people to beat. He didn't have always someone to give the ball to, so he had to hold it up even more. And he found space and stuff to give it to other people. No, I thought they all done well. And it's one of these, you get it every so often where you're proud of your team, of the performance. Respect of the result. But you've got, and I think that if Liverpool would have scored to make it 1-1-0, for example, scored in the last 5-10 minutes, it would have felt like a 3-0 defeat for some reason. You know? It felt such a great way, because you just think, no, they're going to score. I know they had one very, very good chance near the end, but I don't think they deserved it. Honestly, I don't think they deserved it, because their goalkeeper really didn't have that much to do, in all fairness. So all in all, fantastic.
It was great to see such a togetherness as well. I think sometimes we've criticised the team for maybe not showing that kind of togetherness as a team, as a group, but they did on that particular night, and it was fantastic to see. I mean, I suppose we are going to have to talk about the red card. Adam, what did you make of that? I personally thought it was a little bit of a harsh red card. I don't believe a Liverpool player doing the same action at the other end would have got a red card, but anyway, it was a red card. What did you make of that decision?
I kind of agree with you on that, and I've said it to a few different people who are not Arsenal fans, and they agree too. I think that if you look at the play, I don't think Jota had complete control over the ball. There was a covering defender. Ramsdale was already on his way out. Had it not have been Xhaka, and that had been maybe Ben White or Gabriel, maybe, I think it would have been a yellow card, and enough said. But Xhaka's got, and from his own fault, let's be honest, it's his own fault that he's got this reputation. And you knew straight away what was coming. As soon as that happened, as soon as he's Xhaka, you just knew it. It was no worries about it, red card. But I did think it was harsh, and I do think it was purely that it was Xhaka. But again, he gets himself into these troubles, doesn't he? He gets himself into these positions where he does let himself down a little bit. I mean, it was very disappointing. It really was. But I don't think it was a red card. I think that 8 times out of 10, it wouldn't have been a red card if it was any other player. But it is what it is. It was Xhaka. It was a red card. And beyond that, like Melvin said, I thought everyone was amazing. One player that I thought done really well, and considering he hardly played at all, Chambers. You know, he come on. And considering he hasn't played, I mean, first team football for God knows how long, I thought he was brilliant in considering he didn't really stand out, but he also didn't really put much foot wrong, and I thought he was really, really good. But I love a good defensive performance. I really do. I used to play as a defender myself, and I love it. And yeah, it wasn't a pretty watch, but it was, I think, quite absorbing, and it was about as entertaining 0-0 as you're going to get, really.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, you couldn't take your eyes off it for a minute, could you? Because it always seemed like something was happening on the pitch, whether it was a chance for Liverpool, whether it was great defending from Arsenal, whether it was a counter-attack that we strung together and stuff. It just seemed to be...
There was some nice football in there as well from both teams.
Yeah, there was. I thought it was a good game to watch, actually. I thought it was a good game to watch. It was tense, obviously. We were on the edge of our seat, hoping that the final whistle was going to blow while it was still 0-0, and it was all the extra time at the end and stuff, and it was quite stressful, but it was a great game to watch. Russ is in the chat there. Good evening, Russ. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in, mate. Good to see you. We've got Rajendra as well. How you doing, Rajendra? Thanks for tuning in, mate. Again, good to see you. Stan as well. He says good afternoon. Of course, it's good afternoon where he is. It's good evening where we are. It's good morning somewhere as well, probably as well. So it's good to see you as well. And Terry in the chat there as well says, good evening, Richard, Magic, Melvin, Dorsey, and Adam. How you doing? And yeah, I mean, Magic, Melvin, it's Magic, Dorsey, and Magic Adam as well, isn't it? Come on, let's be fair. You know, Madonna says the ref would have given red to Gabriel, but not White. Well, maybe, yeah, perhaps he's had a couple, hasn't he? White is in England, Gabriel is not. I don't know if that's the reason. I mean, Xhaka's not in England, is he? But anyway, I mean, I thought that was harsh, but anyway, in the end, it didn't matter because the team stepped up to the plate and got a result that we would have took before the game. In fact, I remember. I was doing a watch along before the game started. I was sort of saying, looking at the two team lineups, I'd have took a narrow defeat actually for the second leg. So to get a 0-0 draw in them circumstances was just amazing. I mean, Dorsey, what did you make of all of that? The red card and the performance, and and everything else.
Yeah, the red card for me, I agree with you boys. I think it was harsh. I know what Adam is saying by Xhaka's kind of built that reputation for himself, but I don't agree with it. I agree with the fact that Adam is obviously he's saying that he's given that reputation, but you should never be handing out cards based on reputation at all. And it's shocking that some of the challenges that we've had and things go against us and it isn't just Arsenal. You do see other players that are prone to red cards and they would get a red card even if it's a yellow. It's shocking. I mean, we can do a show in itself on the refereeing in the Premier League, which we'll skip over. But yeah, it was a harsh red card. He had his eyes on the ball for 95% of the flight of it. So very harsh. It's just I actually thought initially it was Tierney. I didn't realise actually when it panned to him, given the position on the pitch he was in. I actually thought it was Tierney, but
Can I just say, I never mentioned the red card. I think it was harsh, but I can understand why the ref gave it. But I reckon it broke some type of record I was reading. That was the fastest a referee's ever taken a red card out of his pocket, they reckon.
He already had it out before the challenge, didn't he? Yeah,
I know. I think he had it in his hand, didn't he?
He did.
The tackle.
He did. Yeah, he seemed to, didn't he? I mean, I felt that was partly because he knew VAR wasn't at the game, that VAR wasn't doing anything in that game, and he knew he couldn't be overruled. So he thought, "There's my opportunity, make a name for myself, get the red card out." And he did. He steamed into that very quickly, didn't he? Actually, I thought
he did. Yeah, he really did.
Like playing poker.
But I mean, after that, I mean, the boys were phenomenal, weren't they? All of them, and it was just, same as what Melvin said at the top of the show, it was literally unbearable for the whole game. I was just what I was waiting for, and it was the Minamino chance right at the end. I thought for that performance and then to come away with a 1-0 defeat would have been heartbreaking to being able to put that much effort in. So the fact that he smashed that over the bar, and obviously that image of Ben White is doing the rounds on social media of him celebrating that he's missed it is just. That's one of the pictures of the season that will be. So it's I can't just reiterate what you boys have said. I thought everybody to a man gave absolutely everything that night, and we fully deserved to come away with that result. So I actually think not that it did us a favour, but would we have got the same result 11 against 11? I guess we'll never know. But you set up completely differently.
Yeah, you do.
And it's it's a wonder whether we would have got that result had it been 11 versus 11. But just a quick note on Chambers. I feel really sorry for him because I genuinely cannot remember a game where he's come in, because he doesn't play regular football, but I don't ever remember him coming in and really having a proper mare where he's cost us goals. You know, he's pretty reliable. He's not the quickest. He's not the most agile. But you know what you're going to get from him. And I would have him in front of Cedric every single day of the week.
100%.
And it's I feel for him because he's always the one that gets mentioned when you see players that want to go. Yeah, Chambers has got to go. I probably wouldn't get rid of him. I think you know what you're going to get from him. He's not the best right back in the world. He's not the best centre back in the world. But if you've got a player that's not going to complain about sitting on the bench for huge portions of the time, but come in and do a decent job for you, every squad needs those players. And it's the same with El Neni. I know people want him moved on, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, I thought he was superb when he come on.
Yeah. I mean, you can't play with 11 or 12, 13 players. You need to have a squad, and Callum Chambers is a good squad player, and I agree. He comes on, he does a job, and then he'll go back and sit on the bench for 6 months, and then he'll come back again and do another job for 20 minutes, and that's what he does. And like you said, he seems happy to do that. I mean, for his own career, it can't be doing him any good. He could probably do it playing regular football again, like he did when he was out on loan at Fulham and got Player of the Season. So yeah, I do feel a little bit sorry for him, but I guess. He's not going to play regular, is he? When we've got a better right back than him, and we've got at least 3 better centre backs than him. So he's in that dilemma. If he stays at Arsenal, he's always going to be a bit part player. But yeah, you do need players like that. I agree. And well played for Callum Chambers, because he came on a difficult game with 10 men very early on in that game. It was still 11 men when he came on, but very early in that game, a semi-final away at Liverpool, and he was brilliant. So yeah, good credit to him for that. And let's hope that he does get more minutes, because I think he deserves it, but. At whose expense? That's perhaps the question that we need to look at maybe when it comes to Chambers.
One last just quick comment on the red card. I did see some analysis. I saw the replays and the analysis after the game about Ramsdale for the red card, because he started to come, and I do think he made a bit of an error there by not coming all the way, because I think he probably should have just come and cleared that, because we probably would have got away with it. But yeah, is what it is now. But
you're probably right. And overall, probably out of everybody, Ramsdale probably had one of his poorer games, actually, didn't he?
Yeah.
He looked a bit shaky at times through the night, but luckily, we defended really well in front of him, and it didn't matter in the end. So he's entitled to the odd bad game, isn't he? He's had so many good ones.
Absolutely, yeah. Sure.
Saint says he's got a good feeling for a win on Thursday. Yeah, we'll look at that a little while later on as well. He said he thinks the Burnley game will be off. Well, I don't know. I mean, the fact that their game was off last night, our game was off at the weekend, you kind of think everybody should be better by the weekend, but we'll see. Yeah. And he said with a few new players, I think we can make the top 4. Yeah, I think we all think if we get a few new players, but time's ticking. We're halfway through the month already. And Terry says Chambers done well at Fulham as a centre midfielder. Yeah, he did. He won Player of the Season at Fulham playing in that position. So he is a versatile player, and maybe he does deserve a few more minutes on the pitch. But anyway, I guess we'll see. But yeah, I mean, that was a fantastic way to start what I was hoping was going to be an exciting weekend, actually, because it was all looking set to be a really good weekend. And in the end, I suppose it wasn't really so much, not much on the pitch to get excited about, but there was quite a lot off the pitch, which was quite an interesting weekend in the end, wasn't it? So in the end, of course, we applied to get the game postponed due to our unbelievable amount of COVID cases at the club. Not of course, no one was injured or away at the AFCON or anything like that. It was literally to do with the fact we had 25 players in the squad that had COVID, and everybody kicked up a big fuss about it, which seems strange when everybody else has called off games right, left and centre. No one said a word. And of course, suddenly it's Arsenal, and suddenly the whole rules have got to be changed because we call the game off. I mean, the whole thing was quite funny in a way, but ultimately it kind of highlighted for me the way that Arsenal were looked on in the media and by other clubs and other fans in a completely different way to seems every other club. And I personally don't understand why. It's always been like that throughout my whole life. I can't remember it not being like that. And I mean, Melvin will know even further back than me. Yeah. And I don't understand why it's like that. And this just highlighted it even more. Why was it suddenly made a big deal about us? I just didn't understand it. Tottenham have had games called off. Liverpool called that game off against us last week with fake positive tests, and no one said a word. You had Carragher on the telly criticising us, Gary Neville and everybody else. It's like, come on, honestly, what was that all about? Because it completely baffled me. And ultimately, we called the game off. I'd have liked to have played it, but I like the games. I want to play them. But you can't change the rules for one team. The problem, we said this before, the problem with the FA, at the beginning, they should have made the rule so you either play the game or we don't play any games. Either all the games get played or none of them get played. And they should have done that, and they didn't. They've allowed this to happen. And I don't know why we got all the criticism. I mean, Melvin, what did you make of all that? I mean, it was kind of funny in a way, but it was also quite worrying the way that Arsenal were treated compared to everybody else.
Well, you say that. I think that when we look back in the last couple of seasons, some of the refereeing decisions, we've gone, oh my God, can you believe that? And people forget that. Other supporters forget that. It doesn't influence them. Yeah. But now it's been all over the telly, Sky and all this, everyone's opening their big mouths. All of a sudden, their masks have slipped, hasn't it? All of a sudden, everyone's going, hold on a minute. We're having a go at Arsenal here. We see that. I don't think, some of them don't watch Arsenal when, other sports, but they go, oh, they're complaining about penalty, but it was a penalty and all that. But now they've actually seen it for themselves. They're all complaining, going, Carragher's complaining, but Liverpool called it off last week. I'm talking about ordinary-minded people. As I say, these people's masks have slipped, and I'm glad it has. Just showed them up for what it is. And there has been a bias. There is something about Arsenal, I suppose, because we're called the Arsenal, people don't like that. So that's why we've got to keep doing it. I mean, let's face it, if we're upsetting the likes of Carragher and Neville and people like that, then we've got to be doing something right. So I'm very, very happy that it happened. I'd rather play the game. Having said that, we don't know what team we would have put out. I wouldn't want to put out 6 youngsters, right? But if we would have played 11 people that have played for the first team in the last 12 months, I'm happy to take on Spurs. I'm very happy to take them on. And if we get beat, we get beat. It's one of, you don't want to get beat, of course you don't, but do it. But obviously, Arsenal felt differently. And for some reason, talk about double standards. All of a sudden, football's become very political, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's not right. It shouldn't be like that at all. And also, you've got to blame the FA or the league or whatever. They're stupid. They're ignorant. They've got one job to do, organise the season. They can't even do that. What have they been doing? They probably can't see over their glasses and cigar to work it out. I mean, come on. You're on a committee. You know what you've got to do it. You know that COVID's around. Oh, what's going to happen if A, B, or C happens? You know the AFCONs are around. What are you going to do? You can't just say, "Oh, let a club come to us if they want to call it off. We'll see what their name is first to see if we should allow it or not." No, it's got to be. They've got to be. There's things called rules, and that's what the FA should have done. But they were too lazy or stupid to do it, and they should get more stick than they've got. In my opinion. Why are we getting the stick? It should be them.
No, you're absolutely right. It's 100% the Premier League and the FA. They're to blame for the whole situation. They should have sorted this out back in November or December, whenever the prospect of games getting called off reared its head. They needed to put a plan in place, and that's what they needed to do, and they didn't. And now it's just got out of hand. I mean, I think there's been far too many games postponed, and that shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have allowed that to happen, but they can't stop it now because it's going to be one team treated differently to the other teams, and that's the reason why they ended up having to allow our game to be off. Why they had to allow Burnley's game to be off. They'll have to keep allowing every game to be off because they've got no choice now. They've backed themselves into that corner. But it started to, in the end, it was funny at times, but it did start to annoy me that the way that the media in particular, and obviously everybody else, seemed to be turning on us as though we created this problem. And it's like, no, we didn't. Yeah. What about the other 20 games that were called off before our game? We didn't cancel any games when there were more and more games. Remember that one week when we were the only game on Match of the Day because we're the only game that was ahead. And it's like, people soon forget that. We haven't been calling games off. We haven't been trying to call games off before. We've been trying to get them played. And I'm sure Arteta would have wanted this game played regardless of the fact that we had a few players missing. That's just the nature of it. And we knew that before. The AFCON hasn't helped, obviously, but it's the same for everybody. But ultimately, we get the stick. I mean, Adam, what did you make of all these events in the last sort of 3 or 4 days? It's been crazy, actually, hasn't it? Really, when you think about it.
It has been. I mean, first of all, I think the thing is that I'm pointing out to people I'm talking to is we haven't broken any rules. No, we seem to be getting blamed left, right, and centre. But don't get me wrong, the rules are ridiculous. If you actually read them, they are absolutely ridiculous. But we haven't broken them. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to go through them, but we all probably know what the rules are. And if you read them, they're available on the Premier League website. They've been published all over social media. Arsenal haven't broken any rules. They saw a loophole. They applied for it like 22 other games this year, and we got approval for it. Like you said, I don't agree with it at all. I think we should have played it. I think that's what squads are there for. I think it makes a mockery of the whole system. But the fact of the matter is, other teams are doing it. Why wouldn't we? And I completely get why. I don't agree with it, but I get why. I mean, I was pointed out quite an interesting stat today from my boss, who's a Leeds fan, that it's quite a good stat. Leeds have actually given 8 debuts to teenagers this year in the Premier League, which is a record in a single season, which is quite impressive, really. Yeah. And it does make me think, we've got a good under-23 team. We've got a good youth team. And it was an opportunity to sort of play some of them and give them a chance. And it does make me think that, surely, with opportunities like this, you give people a chance. Not 8, obviously. I think that's a bit extreme. But it disappointed me a little bit from that aspect. The fact that if another club can do that, and still get results, like they turned over West Ham at the weekend with a 15-year-old on the bench and a couple of 16-year-olds who actually did come on the 16-year-olds, and they were able to turn West Ham over. So part of me thinks, well, it would have been nice if we turned Spurs over with some kids as well. That would have been lovely, because let's face it, there's not a much better time to play Spurs at the moment. They're not really firing on any cylinders, let alone full cylinders. But another reason which did make me smile is I was actually at the Man City Chelsea game on Saturday, randomly.
Yeah, how did that go?
And it was good. It was, it was quite nice not being so anxious in the crowd and watching the game just to watch football. So that part of it was really nice. But in the ground, like most grounds, you don't get much, Wi-Fi signal and that. So it wasn't until I got on the train to go back that I checked Twitter and whatever, and it went crazy. And then I'm sitting there scrolling through, everyone slagging down Arsenal, and I just had this little smile on my face, thinking, "Oh, we're back." That's quite nice, And it reminded me of, times gone by when everyone was on our back, and there was a little nice smile, on my face. I thought, yeah, people are worried about us again now. People really are concerned about us again now, and that was quite nice in a way. Yeah, strange times.
Yeah, I mean it is. It has been crazy. Rajendra says wine glasses and partying and music and dancing. Yeah, they're not the only people that just seem to do that when they're not meant to. But anyway, it's especially during May 2021. Yeah, we know about that. He's pretending to have a meeting. Well, I'm sure that's what the Premier League did. They pretended to have a meeting about it and then just said, "Oh, we'll just we'll let them cancel the games. It's fine." Mark says they made a rod for their own back. Indeed, they have. Rajendra says, why justify our request? Other teams have not done exactly. Yeah, we don't need to justify it. We put a request in for the reasons that we have, and that's it. And it's been accepted, and it should have just been left at that, but it wasn't. And Tom's in the chat. Very Tom, good evening, mate. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, I mean, very very strange week it's been. I mean, Dorsey, what did you make of all of this? I mean, personally, do you think, and I maybe got a little feeling that if we wasn't playing Spurs, it wasn't such a big game in terms of the top four and positions in the league and the derby. If we were playing, say, Norwich or Burnley, for example, do you think we would have pushed to get that game off, or do you think we may have just thought, oh, we'll throw a couple of kids in, or do you think it would have happened anyway? It wasn't the.
Well, I was going to ask you the same question, because if I don't think you would have got half the drama over it if it wasn't the North London derby. Yeah. But I also think, I mean, people keep saying, yeah, play the kids, play the kid. What have we been doing all season? Been playing kids all season. I mean, the average age of our side is what, 24? True. People keep saying, yeah, that's what you got an academy for. Well, yeah, absolutely. That's why we've got so many kids playing for us. So that was the first thing that I thought was a joke, really. I mean, you look at the age of the kids that we've got in there, it's ridiculous. So it's a non-argument for me to sit there and say, yeah, we'll play the kids. That's what the academy's for. Because we're one of the very few clubs that actually bring the academy players through and give them a chance and play them week in, week out. So that was bollocks, in my opinion. The second thing is I'm actually glad we did it, because, and it's not because I want the game cancelled, it's because I want to give us the best chance that we've got of beating Spurs, and if that means we take advantage of a situation where we can put ourselves a better team out, do it. And like I think it was Adam that mentioned it earlier, that it's such a big game for us. If we win it, it puts 5 points between us and Spurs. You know, we all seen the Man United fans that kept saying, yeah, well, we got games in hand, but they've played their games in hand now and they're still behind us. So if we can beat Spurs with 5 points in front of them, they got 2 games in hand, it puts us pretty much on a level playing field, and that's if they win their 2 games in hand. So I think the club had done the right thing. I liked what I don't know whether any of you boys saw it, but Mika Richards was probably one of the very few pundits that actually came out and actually stuck up for Arsenal and said, why did everyone want to lump in when it's Arsenal? They've done nothing wrong. The problem, like we've all said, is with the rules. It's not what Arsenal have done, but the fact it was the North London derby, it is the Arsenal. People have always hated us, and I said exactly the same thing as what Adam was saying earlier. I genuinely found it funny, and I was quite proud of it, because people obviously are starting to take notice of us again. Maybe they are starting to get a little bit more worried about us. And if that's the Arsenal that we want is hated, bring it on. I don't care. I don't care who hates us. It's not a problem. So for me, it was just all farcical, really, and just the abuse that the club have got. No one mentioned the fact that we played the Brentford game, the first game of the season. We had, was it 4 or 5 COVID cases, I think, and they were all arguably would have started for us. So
yeah,
no complaints about that. We carried on. We didn't complain about the Liverpool game getting postponed. We just carried on. No one else sticks one in, but it was quite funny. I don't think at any point I found it annoying. I did enjoy seeing Jamie O'Hara having a bit of a meltdown on Twitter.
I think we all enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was quite funny. I think he deactivated his account for about 15 minutes and then came back. But yeah, it was all funny for me. And I want the best chance to beat Spurs. And if that means we have to push the game back a bit, so be it. Doesn't bother me.
And I suppose maybe in a way, Granit Xhaka's red card kind of enabled us to be in that position more, didn't it? Because another player missing maybe pushed us over the kind of threshold to be able to get the game cancelled. So, maybe we have to give the referee credit for sending him off.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. I mean, no one, people were saying, they've only got 1 COVID case. How do we? I don't know. No. You boys don't know. No, nobody, the club didn't come out and say, yeah, we've got 1 COVID case. There was rumours that a second one. We knew Odegaard had obviously been tested positive, but everybody was just making stuff up. Saying we've only got one COVID case. Well, you know that, dear. You know it was just ridiculous. The club didn't need to come out and say anything about how many COVID cases were in there. We all knew the big injuries. And the fact that we've carried on loaning out players just is absolutely brilliant. It's just makes me laugh even more, to be honest. But
technically though, but people were saying it, weren't they? I think was it Carragher or Neville or somebody had said, we're loaning out players and stuff. I'm thinking, well, it's a transfer window. That's what you do. That's irrelevant to the other situation. Completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
We can't let Mari stepped on a football pitch for Arsenal.
Yeah,
it's not. It's not as if they're players that play regularly. So.
But that's what the transfer window is about. The transfer window is you get players in, you get players out. Everybody's doing it. It's like someone has said about Burnley. Burnley sold Chris Wood, then they called their game off. Well, nobody mentioned that, did they? They shouldn't have sold him. Well, it's a transfer window, so that's what you do. You sell your players, or you buy players. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Oh, Liverpool, they shut down the training thing before the decision was made. 12 hours or 24 hours later, they opened it again.
Yeah, well, it was all false positives, weren't they? So it didn't matter in the end. Tom says exactly. Terry says spot on, Dorsey. Yeah, exactly. We all agree with that. Radandra says Garner losing, so party back for Burnley. Well, he won't really because he'll probably have to self-isolate for about 3 months, so we won't see him for Burnley. I wouldn't have thought because he won't be able to play, will he?
Self-isolate for a week.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not going to see him yet, are we? Tom says, if we win our games in hand, I think we are 1 point behind Chelsea. Funny how things change. Yeah, again, games in hand don't really matter. You've got to win them and get the points, I suppose. But yeah, potentially we've got the opportunity. Terry says, we're the Arsenal. We play when we want, or we don't play when we don't want is more the point, I suppose. But hopefully we will be playing this week because there's some big games I'm looking forward to. Tom says Liverpool had only one. That was confirmed by... Yeah, but that was afterwards, wasn't it? There was only one confirmed case. The others were false, apparently. So, but anyway, we know the whole thing kind of, as we said before, but teams are using the rules to get out of playing games when they haven't got some of their better players available. And, once one team does it, everybody's going to do it. And it was the FA's fault, as we said, for allowing it to happen in the first place. So, it is quite funny that we're getting kind of singled out for it, really, because it does go to show, doesn't it, how much, how important a club we are. Nobody cares about anybody else. But as soon as Arsenal do something, it's headline news and people go on about it for weeks because that's how important we are to football. That's how important we've always been to English football. And, it's great that that's the case. So long may that continue. But yeah, it was all a bit silly. Mark says amazing to see Mika Richards, Graham Souness and Craig Burley come out and say they've done nothing wrong. Yeah, it was nice to get a little bit of support in the media, I guess. Although, is that a good thing? Graham Souness doesn't generally have a lot to say nice about us, does he?
No, it doesn't.
But anyway, something, he's shown us, you say that, but I've heard Souness over the years show us a lot of respect as a club.
Yeah, as a club, probably,
He has. He's shown, I've got to say that about him.
Yeah, I suppose he has, to be fair. But, generally during the games and stuff, he can be very critical of Arsenal when we're playing, can't he? But I suppose that's what they're paid for, aren't they, to criticise Arsenal? That's just what happens in the media, isn't it, by the look of it? But anyway, I suppose it does feel, in a way, it feels quite good. It almost feels better having not played the game. And if we played the game and not played very well and lost or something, it actually feels better. We can feel a lot more satisfied, I think, because of the reaction from everybody, particularly Tottenham fans who seemed quite... that statement that the club put out as well about they were going to put in a complaint or something. It's like, honestly, what have you got to complain about?
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like every other club gets a game. The other club doesn't start. Oh, we're gonna complain about it. Tottenham want to put a complaint.
Was there a petition put out for the supporters or something? Some petition.
I think there was. Yeah, it was. They just.
That's embarrassing. Come on.
It was embarrassing. It was quite funny though, wasn't it? From our point of view.
Very, as I say, very Spursy.
Yeah, it definitely was. And, I suppose it would be ironic now, wouldn't it, that when the game gets rearranged, obviously the transfer window will be finished. Hopefully we've bought 2 or 3 players in. We've got the AFCON guys back. We'll have a few injuries back. We'll have a full strength team. They may be missing 3 or 4, and then we can go there and hammer them. That would be really funny, wouldn't it? So that would sort of serve them right, really. But anyway, we'll see what happens with that. It's still a little bit of time to wait till they rearrange it, I guess. Plus, it's going to probably be midweek as well, isn't it? So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it has been a strange weekend considering there was no game. It made it kind of even stranger with all that. But at least it gave us some amusement, didn't it? We were kind of playing a game with the media and with the pundits and with the other fans, really, weren't we? Which was good. But hopefully, now all that's behind us, we can actually look forward to some football on the pitch this week. And we have got a rather important game, hopefully, if it goes ahead, of course, on Thursday. So the second leg, perfectly poised the tie, isn't it? 0-0, of course, as we said, from the first leg. And, you know, we've got a very good record at the Emirates this season. Although we did lose to Man City, we played really well. Other than that, just that first game of the season against Chelsea, the first home game that we lost. Other than that, we've pretty much won all the others at home. So we've got a great home record. And I actually feel pretty confident going into this game. I've got to be honest, that we can finish the job and get the result that we need. There's no away goals, which I suppose is quite handy because we never got one. So it's good that they're not using away goals in the competition anymore. They did used to. I mean, Melvin, what are you kind of anticipating ahead of this game? You know, I suppose we don't really know what team we're going to have available yet, do we, if the game goes ahead? But, you know, thinking that we'll have a few back that maybe was out before, what would you be anticipating for this game? It's going to be tough, don't get me wrong, but I'm actually really confident.
I'm confident. Yeah, I'm confident. It's a midweek match. It's a night match. It's the second leg. It's against Liverpool. The crowd will be up for it. Let's face it. We've taken a lot of stick as Arsenal and Arsenal supporters, I think, and also the way Liverpool, how they abandoned the game or called off the game rather. So I think that will help. It's just basically, I think we're beaten as long as we don't make any silly mistakes. So I think we actually, I'm very confident we can beat them. If we don't do anything stupid at the back, I think we're good enough to get 2 or 3 goals against this mob. I really do.
Wow.
I really do.
Well, no, I mean, I hope you're right.
Like to say, but I'm confident. But we've just got to not. Sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot. I remember in the European Cup against Man United, we went, was it 2-0 down very quickly? Gibbs slipped over. I mean, it was all everyone was there. Oh my God, I've done anything like that. We've done it before a few times. Let's just go with the flow. You know, a bit of dancing, a bit of dirty dancing. Go with the flow. Keep momentum going, and hopefully, just get at them and don't give them a rest. Because I'll tell you something, Van Dijk is superb, but he don't like being under pressure. He's not used to that. He likes to prance about, get the ball, have a little bit of Beckenbauer about him. But if you go at him, he's not happy at all. So I'd love to see, get put front foot and just see what happens. I think our attack is better than their defence. I think we will nick a couple of goals, as I say. But as I say, pray we don't make any stupid mistakes. I think we'll be fine.
I mean, I suppose in a way now, when you look at, the fact we're out of the FA Cup, if we're going to win a trophy, this is our only opportunity now, isn't it? Because, as much as we've improved in the league, we're not going to catch Man City, are we? Let's be honest. So our only chance of a trophy is the Carabao Cup. And, we said it before, it's not a trophy we've won very many times in our history, only twice. So it would be nice to win it. And it would be nice to, to be able to get a trophy in a season that's been, it's been an improvement on the pitch. And it'd be nice to actually get a trophy to kind of have something to show for it, wouldn't it? Especially as there's a few teams that don't win too many trophies. I really want to win it. I wanted to win it from the start of this season. We've mentioned it on the show before. Without Europe, let's go for the cups. We obviously blew the FA Cup, so let's pile everything into this now. We're so close, aren't we? Because that first leg has given me a lot of confidence. I mean, Adam, you must be feeling confident ahead of the game. I mean, I don't think it's going to be maybe as easy as Melvin maybe suggesting 2 or 3 goals, but I mean, I'm confident that we can. If we play as well as we did at Anfield with 11 players and we can obviously create more opportunities and our record at home is good, I actually feel that we've got a great chance.
Yeah, I'm quietly confident. I'll be honest with you, I'm quietly confident. I think a lot of it will depend on how we start first 10, 15 minutes. If we go on the front foot and attack them, I think that's key because it will open the game up, but Liverpool are going to do the same. I think Liverpool will come at us early as well to try and get early goals. So we've got to try and counteract that straight away. I'm not scared of them. I know previous, past couple of seasons when we've got to play Liverpool, I thought, oh God, here we go. But I don't feel like that at the moment. I don't think they're as intimidating as they once were. I saw a bit of the game against Burnley the other day as well, and they won Brentford, not Burnley. And they won 3-0, but Brentford caused them problems, especially up front. And if they had probably, I would say, a more proven striker, because it was Mbeumo, not Tony, who had missed a couple of really good chances, that they could have quite easily got a draw there. So I don't think they're like Melvin said. I don't think the defence is what it once was, and I think if you do run at them, especially, they don't like that. And even that showed in the game last week when Saka was running at Robertson. Didn't like that.
No.
Don't like being put on that back foot. So, I hope that we really do go out there. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the game. I really am. So night game Thursday night's a bit odd. I always think, but a night game, semi-final. It's probably going to be our biggest game of the season. Let's be honest. So let's make it work.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I don't think you get a cup semi-final at home as well. A second leg at home is better, isn't it? Because you've got the opportunity to get the right result when you're at home. I know we didn't do that in the Europa League semi-final last year, and we was at home. Tom says in the chat there, I think it'll be called off. I gave my tickets to two good mates. See, I'm not sure if it will. I think if it was going to be called off by now on Tuesday, Arsenal would have put a request in, or Liverpool would have put a request in by now. I mean, the fact that we're not hearing anything, if they put a request in on Wednesday, that's very short notice when Liverpool have got to travel to London and stuff like that. I think if it was going to be called off, if there was any chance, we would have heard something today to say that there was a possibility of it getting called off. So I actually don't think it is going to get called off now. I think it will be going ahead. I mean, I hope it will, because as Adam said, I'm really looking forward to it as well. I think it's a massive game, a brilliant opportunity to get to a cup final at Wembley. And let's face it, we've seen what Chelsea have been playing like recently. There's certainly nothing to fear in the final either, should we get there. So I'm really excited about this game, and I really do hope that we can get the result. Terry in the chat there says, my only worry is if we turn up like we did against Forest after all the hard work last week. Yeah, I mean, the Forest performance and the Liverpool performance, chalk and cheese, weren't they? It's very, very sort of strange how them two games back to back after Man City as well. So let's hope it's not a trend, a really good performance, a poor performance, a good performance. Let's hope we don't get a poor performance, because that's going to, stop our chance. I mean, Dorsey, what are you anticipating for Thursday? I mean, let's assume it is going ahead, because I think it probably will be now. I think it's a bit late to probably cancel it. But anyway, what are you kind of anticipating? I mean, I'm confident. Adam's confident. Melvin's really confident. Are you as confident as we are? Or are you a little bit worried that maybe Liverpool, we're underestimating them slightly?
I'm as confident as I can be playing Liverpool, I guess. I don't know. It depends on a couple of things for me. What we have got available. Hopefully, we've got a half decent team that's available to put out, because even though Liverpool have got no Salah or Mane, they're still a good side. I don't worry too much about their midfield, but Jota's a good player, and he'll still take a chance if they create one. So it's if we've got a decent side available, then I'm more confident. And I think Adam hit the nail on the head. It's all about that first 20 minutes. It's about how we start that game. If we start that game quick, with a lot of aggression, we go after them, we press, the crowd to get behind the team, which they should be anyway. After the monumental effort that the boys put in at Anfield, I think it's only right that the fans can do their bit and really kind of push behind them. So, yeah, I am confident. I'm quietly confident that we can get the win. I'm just a bit conscious about what we've got available. If we've got a half decent team available, then I think we'll be all right. Because I think we're more of a goal threat than they are with the team or the players that they've got available. I think they lose so much about Mane and Salah, obviously. I am confident.
I mean, I agree. I think it is down to the players that are available. And bearing in mind, last week we didn't have Odegaard, we didn't have Smith Rowe, we didn't have Tommy Hasu. We had players missing last week, and we produced a performance like that. So even if we still maybe one or two players missing this week, I still feel confident that we can put in a good performance. And if we do, we're going to give ourselves a great chance. This semi-final, I said it last week, that it kind of reminds me a little bit of the semi-final we played against Chelsea the last time we reached the final, when we got a real decent defensive performance away in the first leg, 0-0, and then we went 1-0 down at the Emirates and came back to 1-2-1 to go through. He's kind of got that vibe about it for me. Xhaka actually scored the winning goal. Obviously, he won't be able to play on Thursday, but he did get the winning goal that last time. I mean, I suppose we need to look at perhaps a score prediction, which I know is going to be difficult because we don't know who's available, which team we'll have, so it's hard. But Melvin, I know you seem pretty confident. What are you going to go with your score prediction for this one?
2-0.
Would be absolutely fantastic. We would all love that. A nice trip to Wembley to look forward to next month as well. Adam, what are you thinking?
I'm sorry, I've still got a really bad connection here, but I'm thinking 2-1 Arsenal. I'm thinking it'll be tight, and I'm thinking that it'll be maybe we'll go ahead early, probably concede a stupid equaliser, and then go from second half 2-1.
Well, 2-1 would be fantastic. I would definitely we do it.
Oh, sorry, you stopped there. You're asking me?
Yeah. So yeah.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
Well, that's a great score, isn't it? It's a famous score. It would be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Adam. I'm going to go 2-1 just because I'll say I can feel the Chelsea vibe from a few years ago. So I'm going 2-1, and I think we may go 1-0 down and come back and win. So that'll be exciting as well. So it's going to be a good night then Thursday. We're all confident that we're going to go through. We'll be at Wembley against Chelsea. That would be really, really nice. Tom says there, I think if it goes ahead, we'll win. The crowd will be immense. No, I'm certain of that. Yeah, it's certainly picked up recently since I've been there, especially against City. Yeah, City was fantastic, wasn't it? I think we'll take it to them 3-1. Tom says, well, there you go. We're all pretty confident, aren't we? I hope that doesn't come back to haunt us on Friday. But anyway, Rajendra says Ghana losing 3-2 to Comoros Islands. I've never even heard of them. So there you go. But they must be quite good if they're beating Ghana.
Lionel Richie played for them.
He might have done actually, yeah. Perhaps he did.
Yeah,
he must have been there.
Yeah.
He was their star striker, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Back in the 1970s, they were the days. They were the days of the Comoros Islands, wherever they are. But anyway, they're beating Ghana, so they must be all right, mustn't they? Wherever they are. So good, fair play to them. So I know we always like to do a little archive section on this show, and I thought one thing we could look back on after the performance last Thursday at Anfield with 10 men. How brilliant it was. We've used to play with 10 men because we've got the most players sent off in the whole history of football ever. So we quite adapt to it now. But there has been quite a lot of games in history where maybe we've really produced a great performance when we've had a player sent off, like Thursday. So I thought maybe we perhaps go around and see, look back on some of them that we can remember. And, there's been so many, obviously, to choose from, but I'm sure we've all got our own ones that we'd like to talk about. Of course, that picture there is one of the most famous ones and one of the most common ones as well. Patrick Vieira getting a red card. That was unusual, wasn't it? That one at Man United, of course, that famous game where Van Nistelrooy missed a penalty. I mean, Melvin, you must remember a few good backs to the wall Arsenal performances with 10 men against the odds over the years.
Yeah, I mean, the first one I went to was one of the greatest 0-0 games ever at Highbury. We drew with Leeds. They were favourites to win the league that year. The year we won it, actually, the double year. It was about the third or fourth game in, and we had Eddie Kelly, young Scottish midfielder, sent off against Bremner. And basically, Bremner they're both running away from the referee, both pushing each other. And Bremner suddenly went down like a sack of potatoes, and he got sent off. I mean, the ref didn't see it, no one saw it. But we battled, and we were a good team, Leeds, nasty but good. And we battled, and we thought, you know what, we ain't got a bad team there. We have not got a bad team. That was a fantastic one. Also, I mean, there's so many when we had Pele sent off. I mean, this go on for hours, couldn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, one of the great ones as well was away to Bolton when we beat them 3-2. We were 2-0 down.
Yeah, I remember that one.
With Diaby sent off.
Yeah,
in the rain. I mean, that was a fantastic performance. Another one when we were, I think, might have been losing in this one as well. We had the Van Bronckhorst sent off against Liverpool away. We won 2-1.
That was brilliant. Yeah,
we beat them with football, absolute football with 10 men. And Liverpool were, as they are now, very, very good team. That was terrific. One of the worst games I went to where we had Vieira sent off. We played away at West Ham. And that was horrible. I think we were 2-0 down. It wasn't going right. And Ruddock had a go at Vieira. I mean, I think Vieira was already sent off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he'd already been sent off. Yeah.
He'd already been sent off. And as he was going off, Ruddock was giving it big. And he spat at him. And he got a nightmare. And rightly so for that, Vieira. Everyone remembers that. But Ruddock, forget about that. And also, when we beat them in the Cup 2-1, I think Burkamp got sent off an elbow in.
Yeah, the elbow, yeah.
That was one. And also,
he had one of them in him, didn't he? Burkamp.
He did have something in. I'll tell you what, one of the best first halves I ever saw that was ruined by the referee. We played a midweek game, I think it was, home to Newcastle, 1-0 up. We were playing with Perez and Burkamp and all that. And and Henri, we were playing some of the most magnificent football you've ever seen. And then the referee, 1-0 up we were, and the referee sent off Parler for 2 yellows.
Yeah, actually, I remember that one. Yeah.
And Shearer went to the ref, which I can't believe because he's very competitive. Yeah. No. Didn't want to, and he got sent off, Parler. He didn't want him for some reason. Shearer didn't want him sent off, and Pulse sent him off, and he got beat 3-1. And that was horrible. What else have I got here? They were that was the one that really done. Oh yeah, obviously the Spurs semi-final. Well, Dixon got sent off, didn't he, when Adams scored?
Yeah.
Dixon, I thought we were. I couldn't see it on anywhere. Yeah, that was that one. And also a very good one as well. Again, when Adams got sent off when we beat Newcastle away 2-1.
Yeah.
I think we were 1-0 down as well. Dixon header, brilliant Dixon header. And then Righty, he just like dinked it over the goalie. He's like one typical Righty, just a dink to make it 2-1. Brilliant. That was a great performance. So those are the, as I say, I could have thought of another 100 probably, but they were the ones that really didn't always go away, but mostly went our way when we were 1-0 down. Sorry, one man down. So they're the ones that stick in my mind.
Yeah, no, there's some great ones there. I mean, there's been, like you said, there's been literally hundreds because we've had so many red cards and we kind of used to it, aren't we now? Maybe that's why we've had so many good performances because we just got used to playing with 10 men. I mean, Adam, you must look back on a few. I mean, obviously, Melvin's mentioned a few there. There must be a few others that spring to your mind, maybe, is there?
I have problems.
I don't
know what's going on. I don't know what's going on tonight on my computer again. So apologies. I've got a load of memories. I mean, I think that at one point we seemed to have 10 players on the field more than we had 11 at some point. But I always remember us for a certain period, very much in the early Wenger years, we used to play really well with 10 men. We used to get a player down and we still used to control games. I mean, unfortunately, I missed the games that Melvin mentioned, so I might double up on the ones. But when you put that in the group earlier, there was 3 games randomly that stuck in my head. 2 probably quite obvious ones. The Champions League final. That one is still sour, but, I still think we deserved to win that final. We will never know if we get that 11th player, but that one still sticks in the mind. Obviously, the cup final against Man United, but in a better one. Probably the worst we've ever played in a cup final, but won. But I still.
Who got sent off in that cup final? I can't remember.
Reyes,
wasn't it?
Reyes. Of course he did.
Yeah. So and we that was a horrible game if you think about it, but we won.
Shocking.
We won the cup, so that was always nice, and it was Vieira's last kick, wasn't it, for Arsenal winning us the cup? So that always remember as well. And also more recent one was Villa at home from a few years ago. I think Maitland-Niles got 2 yellow cards.
Yeah, 1-2-1. Was it 3-2?
3-2. Villa really battered us. Villa battered us, and they deserved to probably win. It was in their first game back in the Premier League, and I remember Grealish really turned it on. And I was in the stands, and I was thinking, God, he's a player. Like, really good player he is. And somehow we come back and won 3-2, and I think Chambers scored in that game as well.
He did, yeah.
He did, yeah. He got the equaliser, yeah.
We probably didn't deserve it, but we had the tenacity to keep on going, and that was what I remember about those. So those are the 3 that initially come into my mind. But yeah, I remember being at West Ham and Vieira got sent off for the Neil Ruddock incident. I remember that quite well. That one didn't work out as good for us, though, did it? No. I remember Bergkamp getting sent off. I always remember Liverpool at home, maybe first or second game of the season when Vieira had got sent off.
Yeah.
I think the second time in 3 games or something, and he had a proper strop at Highbury, and you thought, oops, you don't want to be here anymore. But thankfully, he did stay around for a bit. But yeah, there seems to be quite a lot when you think about them. And we've not had the best discipline over the years, but more often than not, I do think it's galvanised the team. I mean, there's the obvious exceptions when we've been completely turned over, but I do think more often than not, especially you bring on last week, it has galvanised that team, and that's what really impressed me for last week. I mean, it actually galvanised the team rather than went the other way. So more performances like that, but preferably with 11 on the field.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's one there that obviously Tom remembers there. Gibbs v Chelsea when it was the Ox. Yeah, that was one of the ones where obviously it didn't go too well when we were down to 10 men. That was 6-0 in that one, wasn't it? That was a 6-0 one. We don't remember that too much. But yeah, that was quite a strange incident, wasn't it, when he sent the wrong player off? Even when he was told it was the wrong player, he still persisted with going ahead with the decision. Yeah. But there you go, that's referee's for you, isn't it?
You can't tell a God he's wrong, can you?
No, that's true. No VAR in them days, of course, to put him right. So he just got on with it. And it did make
a difference. The VAR would have got it right, Richard.
Well, I don't know, probably not.
We might send them both off the VAR.
Well, he might have done, yeah. He may well have done. But yeah, that wasn't the best memory with 10 men, was it? That particular game. Arsene Wenger's 1,000th game, that was, wasn't it? The famous 1,000th game, which didn't end up too well, did it? I mean, Dorsey, have you got any different games maybe to mention that we haven't mentioned so far? Some great performances with 10 men or 9 men?
No, the ones I could remember have all been mentioned. So the Champions League game was the first one that sprung to mind. I mean, yeah, same as Adam. It's obviously still very painful, but it's what a performance for 70 minutes against a team like that. You know, it's just phenomenal what they did. The Bergkamp one that Melvin mentioned was the one that jumped out. Vieira again against West Ham, and yet the FA Cup final as well. So yeah, all the games that I could kind of think about this afternoon were all mentioned. But yeah, I think what Adam was saying about it was nice to see it galvanise the team. It was a brilliant performance against Liverpool the other night. But yeah, I would prefer moving forward to be able to do that with 11 players. I always want 10 players.
It's a little bit easier with 11 often, isn't it? Especially against a team like Liverpool. I mean, there's one that maybe people haven't mentioned, which was really recent. I'm surprised maybe one of you guys didn't remember, was the game at Chelsea when David Luiz got sent off and Martinelli scored that great goal on the counter-attack. Well, Mustafi made a mistake and David Luiz got sent off by covering for him, And then, of course, Bellerin scored the last-minute equaliser to make it 2-2. That was a fantastic second half with 10 men, actually, under the caution and a couple of goals on the breakaway. I mean, that Martinelli goal.
That was 2 seasons ago. You just mentioned 3 players who are no longer at the club. Really, it's just crazy how things change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how quickly things have changed. But that was a good performance with 10 men. Obviously, the Patrick Vieira one at Old Trafford, the 0-0 in the Invincible season. You know, the penalty to hit the bar and all that's probably one of the most famous ones ever. I think everybody remembers that game. Not necessarily for the red cards, but for certainly everything else that happened in the last few moments of that game. So that was quite a memorable one. And that was I know we didn't play that long with 10 men in that game, but to hold on and get that draw, that's what the Invincible season was built on, that, wasn't it? From that point, not losing that game was what maybe pushed us through and believed that we could do it. I mean, there's a couple, maybe one from a very long time ago that I remember. It was 1984. We played Leicester at home at Highbury. It was the second or third last game of the season. It wasn't nothing riding on it, really. We were 1-0 down. Charlie Nicholas actually got sent off. I think he had a fight with one of the Leicester players. It might have been Steve Peake or somebody. I can't remember now. But anyway, he had a fight with one of the Leicester players. He got himself sent off, Charlie Nicholas. We were 1-0 down in the 89th minute. We'd played about 25 minutes with 10 men, and then we scored twice and won the game. Woodcock and Paul Davies scored, and we won 2-1. That was quite good. I just remember how exciting that was at the time. You know, we were down to 10 men, 1-0 down, and then get them 2 goals at the end to win the game. So that was pretty good. Another one I've got written down, actually, I don't know whether you might remember this, Melvin. We drew away at West Ham, 1993. David Seaman got sent off.
I don't remember that.
You don't?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was he got sent off.
Penalty he gave away.
Yeah, I think it was outside the box. I don't think it was a penalty. We drew 0-0, and Seaman got sent off. I think he came out of the box and fouled one of their players, handball or something it was. I can't remember that, but he got sent off. And we brought on our sub goalkeeper Alan Miller, and I think it might have been his debut for the first team. And he had to come on a London derby away at West Ham, a night game. It was a tense atmosphere, and we held on for a 0-0 draw that night. That was a pretty decent performance with 10 men.
Oh, yeah.
So that was good with a goalkeeper, a young goalkeeper that never played before. He got himself a clean sheet. So that was a good one. I mean, you mentioned the Dennis Bergkamp one. That was at West Ham in the FA Cup as well, when he elbowed. Was it Bishop, the guy with long hair? Elbow.
Was it the Irish guy? What's he called?
Lomas.
Oh, was it
Lomas, I
Lomas?
think it might
Oh,
have
it
been,
might
yeah.
have been, yeah. It might have been, yeah. And obviously, we ended up winning that game on penalties, which was pretty good. So we held on. That was in the first half. So we held on the whole of the rest of the first half, all of the second half, the whole of extra time, and then won on penalties. Of course, we won the double that year. So that was a great one. I mean, the one you mentioned before, actually, Melvin, the Tony Adams one at Newcastle, that was fantastic, wasn't it? Because Newcastle were a good team then. They were one of the top sides, weren't they? That was Arsene Wenger's first season as well. And, you know, we done brilliantly to win that game. You know, I think it was Ian Wright, wasn't it? Ran through and got that winning goal against a run of play, a good defensive performance again without Tony Adams. That was a really good one there. And of course, nobody actually mentioned, and maybe because it's, you know, we want to forget the game, but that 4-4 at Newcastle when Diaby got sent off and we were 4-0 up. Yeah. And then ended up drawing 4-4. That was obviously a crazy one. It didn't quite end up going our way.
No, I blame for that. I know all the players got to take a lot of responsibility, but that crap ball that Schillaci played at Diaby, who gave the chance to try and do it, and that's why he lost his temper, Diaby. If the ball would have been better, you know, that horrible, what's that one? What's his name? Barton?
Jerry Barton. Jerry Barton, it was, yeah.
He had a chance. It was such a bad ball, a short ball, a bad one, that Barton saw his chance to try and pretend he's going to tackle and try and do it.
Yeah.
So that's what.
No, it was a bad ball. Yeah, that game, obviously, that we was 4-0 up at that point, and then that's obviously what turned that game against us, really. But I mean, that was not perhaps the best performance we could have actually won it at the end. We had a goal disallowed when it was 4-4.
Van Persie.
Van Persie, yeah, that was never offside, and it was given as offside, and we should have won that game anyway. But that was a strange one. I actually was looking at sort of some of the red cards that we've had, and I saw there was one for Ian Wright, but I can't remember when Ian Wright got a red card. Can you remember? Anyone remember?
Yes,
when Ian Wright
Nottingham Forest away.
It was, yes. So we lost that game, didn't we?
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
it might have been they had a new manager, I think. Ron Atkinson.
Stuart Pearce, it was. It was Stuart Pearce.
Was it Stuart Pearce?
Took over. Yeah.
Just to go over a new manager,
Yeah. That's right. It was. Yeah, it was the game. Yeah, he did get sent off in that game. That's right. I was racking my brains earlier thinking, I don't remember Ian Wright getting sent off. I was surprised he hadn't been because he was quite a fiery, as Tom says in the chat there, how right he got away with stamping on Schmeichel that night at Highbury. Yeah, that was a bad tackle, that actually. He'd have been definitely sent off these days for that. And I just couldn't remember which game he'd been sent off in, but yeah, that was it. Not in the Forest. Yeah, I remember I was at that game actually. Yeah, I remember that now. It was Stuart Pearce's first game. I don't think they'd won all season, and then Ian Wright got sent off. We were 1-0 up, and then they beat us 2-1. In fact, it was Haaland who scored both the goals for them. Alfie Inga Haaland, who scored the 2 goals.
Really?
Yeah.
What's happened to any of his family? Did any of his family take up football after him? Or not?
No, I don't think so. You don't hear anything from him anymore, do you, Haaland? You don't hear the name anymore, do you? No. Shame, but there you go. But I suppose he'd be most famous for getting his leg snapped in half by Roy Keane, won't he, really? Alfie Haaland. That's probably his most famous moment in football, probably, apart from them 2 goals against us. Tom says, shocking match, 4-0 up, in Newcastle away it was, but there's a few incidents went on in that game. Again, referees got involved, didn't they? Rajendra says, party back for Thursday, jet lag. He's not going to play Thursday, is he? He's just playing tonight in the African Cup of Nations. There's no chance of him playing Thursday, is there? Even if they've been knocked out. But anyway, we'll see.
I'll tell you what, it was a stupid sending off, Richard, when it was Barton again, I'm saying, Newcastle away, first game was Vino's first game for us. Yeah. He should never have been sent off.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was.
And then Barton, after the game, admits that he didn't see what happened, and Barton was the one that reacted. Ugh,
No, I hate Joey Barton. He seemed to make a career out of getting Arsenal players sent off, didn't he? At various different times. Yeah. But anyway, and we know what his history is in life as well. Tom says one of the Haalands works for the Daily Mail. He's not already a career. I didn't know that, actually. I don't have any interest in the Daily Mail, but there you go. And Mark says everyone talks about his son, though. Well, yeah, they do, because his son's not a bad player, apparently. He's all right, isn't he? He's got big thighs. He's got big thighs, isn't he?
Goal or what? What is he?
I don't know. He's just got very, very big thighs. I know that. I've seen a picture of him. They're massive. So yeah, he must be good if he's got thighs that big. But anyway, he's like a power lifter. But yeah, so that was some of the good and maybe not so good memories of Arsenal playing with 10 men. There's been so many over the years. Of course, we didn't mention the 8-2 at Man United when Carl Jenkinson got sent off. Of course, during that 8-2, that was quite interesting as well, wasn't it?
I've erased that game from my memory. I don't know longer recall anything about that game.
Yeah, I know Jenkinson did get sent off, and was it that Traore? What was his name? That young Traore left back we had.
The left back,
He played in that game as well, actually. So what a great defence we had. Jenkinson and Traore as two of our back four. No wonder we conceded 8. I think Giroud was one of the other ones. Giroud.
Yeah, brought Andre Santos the next day after that as well.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that improved us, didn't it?
Yeah, that's made us world beaters. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
We have the game, the other one at Old Trafford where we got humped, where we lost 6-1. I think it was 99, was it, or 2000?
2000, yeah.
Did we have someone sent off in that?
Probably.
I'm not sure if we did. I just think we were just terrible.
We did. No.
Just awful.
Yeah, that was just a bad one. Wasn't it? Well, I think we were 4-0 down in about 20 minutes, weren't we? That in that game, I think.
Welbeck scored against us, didn't he? He scored the first, I think.
In the 8-2, he did. Yeah, he scored. I think he scored 2 in that game. Actually, he definitely got the first one.
Yeah.
We missed a penalty as well. Van Persie missed a penalty when it was 1-0.
Yeah.
But anyway, as Dorsey says, probably best to forget that game if we can. But
yeah,
some things are just so they're just, you just can't get rid of them just in your mind, and you'll never forget them. And that's obviously one of those particular occasions. Well, hopefully we will have a Premier League game soon as well. On Sunday, we're due to play a team that don't tend to play very often because for some reason they get lots of games called off and nobody cares. So obviously Burnley at home, a fixture that generally we do well in, of course, apart from last year when we lost to everybody at home, but we'll forget about that. Obviously, Burnley just had another game called off, as we said. Obviously, was it tonight, wasn't it? It was meant to have been played. So there's obviously a doubt over this game, perhaps, but hopefully by the weekend it'll be on. And it's a good opportunity for us to pick up another 3 points and get back in the top 4. Obviously, West Ham losing at the weekend against Leeds has helped us out as well, hasn't it? Another team, around us with games in hand, and they haven't really cashed in on them. So it's an important game for us, isn't it? And it is a game that, looking at Burnley's position in the league, they're struggling for goals. They've just sold probably their best striker, Chris Wood, as well. So where their goals going to come from, it's a great opportunity for us if we can get the game on to kind of get ourselves back going again in the league. Because obviously our last league game seemed like ages ago against Man City and we lost. So we need to bounce back and get ourselves back on track. I mean, Melvin, assuming the game goes ahead, which hopefully it will, what are you anticipating for this? Because, I mean, we should really win this game, shouldn't we, if we're honest?
Are they second from bottom or bottom?
Bottom. They're bottom.
Are they bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bottom. I think what people are missing out, they might be bottom, but I've worked out if they win every game in hand, they go top. So we must not underestimate them. No, in all things being equal, we should. I know it's only 3 days after we play Liverpool, but I hope we just, play the same type of team against Liverpool if we can. We should be too good for them. Again, we should be too good. Keep momentum going. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there. Michael Jackson, I'll be there. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I think it seems like this now. It's no excuse games. You don't care if we're unlucky, the refs poor, whatever. You've got to beat teams like this at home. And we worry about, do your job and move on. And that's what we've got to do this week. That's on Sunday.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, these are the games that, when you're chasing the top 4, these are the games that you want to have because they're games that you've got a great chance of winning and getting the 3 points. But I know it doesn't always work like that. I say last year, of course, Burnley did beat us at the Emirates, didn't they? The first time they'd won away at Arsenal since probably the 1960s, I think it was, or something like that. So, Mark C's got a comment about that Man United game. Igor at centre back, Igor Stefanovs, of course, a fantastic Igor Stefanovs, and he says no, we were just shit that day. Yeah, we were. I don't think we had a player sent off as much as.
Didn't we have Oleg Luzhny at right back as well? Didn't we? I think
we may well have done. Yeah, it was certainly a bit of a strange Arsenal team that night. But anyway, no excuses for losing 6-1, I suppose. But yeah, we can look at that was a bad one.
I think we got back to 1-1, didn't we?
Yeah, we did get it back to 1-1. Didn't they scored about? I think it was 5-1 at half time or something, wasn't it? Tom says there, Michael Jackson, wasn't that the Jackson 5? Well, yeah, it was the Jackson 5.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I'll be there. I think that was Michael Jackson.
No, Michael Jackson by himself, the vocals. No,
yeah, I think it was, yeah. I'll be there with Michael Jackson on his own, yeah. He was with the Jackson 5 at the time, but that was one of his early sort of solo singles, wasn't it? But anyway.
When he went solo, there was Jackson 4, weren't they? Jackson 4.
The Jackson 4, yeah. Jackson 4 and Michael, yeah, that was pretty much what it was. But I don't know how we got on to talk about Michael Jackson. But anyway, we did, which is
I'll
good.
be there. That's it. That's right.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Melvin's
yeah, it's Melvin's fault. Yeah, but what can you do? He likes a bit of Michael Jackson. I can see Melvin actually having a bit of a boogie to the Jackson 5, like, you know.
Oh, yeah, with my flares on years ago. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I can imagine that. They were the days, weren't they, Melvin? Eh?
Tank top and flares. You should have seen some photographs.
No, you'll have to share them actually. Then that'd be quite good. We'll stick them on the show. Put them as like a background or something. That'd be nice. Melvin in his flares dancing to Michael Jackson. Anyway, right, a bit off topic actually there, because we have got the Burnley game to discuss. I mean, Adam, what are you sort of hoping for Burnley? Obviously, you know, I know they may have a few players out. We still may have a few players out. It's very soon after the semi-final, which could go extra time, could go penalties. We could be playing on Friday still, and then we're playing again Sunday. So it's quite a quick turnaround with these sort of injuries and problems that we've got. I mean, what are you anticipating? I suppose if Burnley are ever going to pick up a result against us 2 seasons running, it could be now, couldn't it, with the problems that we've got, I suppose, injury-wise?
First and foremost, I hope that there's a match to watch. I would like there to be a game this weekend. That would be very, very nice. I just looked at the table. Burnley are bottom, actually, because Newcastle got a point at the weekend and Norwich won. So Burnley are bottom. But they've also got 4 games in hand over Norwich. So, you know, it's a little bit... You know, it's ridiculous. 4 games in,
and they're having a go at us for missing games.
I know, they're missing one game. Yeah.
That's literally where I was going with that. It's just ridiculous. They've only won 1 game this year, which worries me because they're overdue a win. Like,
don't you start this again? People are overdue a win.
We said that against Newcastle, didn't we? And we ended up beating them easily enough. But
so exactly. That's why I'm saying it again now. The thing that worries me the most is Burnley. I saw today were linked with Andy Carroll.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah. Because he scored those 2. Did you see those 2 disallowed goals for Reading last week?
The overhead kick. Wow, what a goal that was!
And won a volley from about 30 yards out. Incredible goals. Both didn't count. So I think obviously Dyche has seen that, saying, "Well, let Wood go for 20 million. We'll get Andy Carroll for free." Sounds like good business. So if that happens, he's bound to score against us, you know, because that's the way things go. But I still think we'll win. We should have it, even if we play half of the team that we have been playing lately. We should have more than enough for Burnley. I think without them having another player lined up, I think it was a bit of an error for them to sell Chris Wood, seeing as they're fighting relegation alongside Newcastle. Yeah, he's not a prolific striker, but he's been very important for them, and he looks an absolute nightmare to play against. So I don't know why you'd strengthen one of your closest rivals, regardless of how much money. It just doesn't make any sense for me.
There was a reason for that, though, Adam. I read they're under pressure to do it for some reason.
No, I think Newcastle triggered his release clause. That's why.
They had to let him talk to them. He didn't have to go, but they had to at least give him permission. But you can't blame him. I mean, either way, he could get relegated. But you know, it is what it is. But it just seems to be a bit bizarre, you know. But I mean, fair play. I mean, I've got Burnley. I don't think play the nicest football. I think that they probably outstayed their welcome in the Premier League, and they were one of the teams that I tipped to go down at the beginning of the season. Which many people was like, what are you going about? But we should comfortably beat them. We should have more than enough to get a result. I thought the game against them last season was when we were at a pretty bad patch. And
shocking.
It was.
Deservedly won. They did. They deserved it. They won. They took the chances. It was 2, weren't it? 2-0 in the end?
1-0 it was. Aubameyang scored no goal. Actually, that was another red card because Xhaka got sent off in that game, didn't he?
That's
right. Yeah.
So there's another red card from Arsenal. There you go.
But I do think we'll get a comfortable. I do think we'll get.
Yeah, we should do, I suppose. Tom isn't letting the Michael Jackson theme go. He says he had the CD in his car at the time with quality ABC. He said the ABC was a good tune, actually. That's fair enough. Getting back to football there, Mark says, hope Tommy's back. Yeah, well, I hope he's back for Thursday, actually, let alone Sunday. That's what we need. And Tom says, I hope it better be as if he's not been there since New Year's Day. Well, no, there's not been a game at home since New Year's Day, has there? So let's hope it is on. It'd be nice if it is. And I think it's a good opportunity to get the 3 points. I mean, Dorsey, you must be confident in this game. I mean, we're confident we can beat Liverpool at home. Surely we've got to be confident of beating bottom of the table Burnley, who haven't got any strikers.
Yeah, I think as long as injury issues and COVID issues don't get any worse, I think we should be all right. I think, like Melvin said earlier, we've got no excuse really. The boys have had almost a week off following the Liverpool game, so there's no reason why they're not recovered from that now. I'm really confident going into the Burnley game. Even worst case scenario, we don't go through Thursday. I still think even with that, I think we should still have too much for Burnley, and I fancy a relatively comfortable win.
I mean, that's an interesting point, actually, because I've noticed in the past, not just with Arsenal, but with other teams as well, when you've got a semi-final, obviously this is the second leg of the semi-final, so it's going to decide whether you're in the final or not, followed by the next league game. If you win, sometimes you're on such a high from the semi-final, you're maybe not as focused on the league game, and sometimes you can lose or not play well. If you lose a semi-final, it can affect your confidence and you're down in the dumps because you're not at the final, and that can affect the league game. So sometimes the league game following a game like that can often be a little bit flat. And the fact it's Burnley. Oh, was there a goal there?
I've got the Brighton Chelsea game on in the background, and Brighton nearly equalised. Sorry.
Wow. I mean, Brighton are doing well, actually, to be fair. So, I think it's the position of the game is actually quite difficult. But I suppose if you're looking at a game to come straight after a semi-final, Burnley at home is probably one of the games that you'd want because, they're one of the technically easier teams, I suppose, to win, although we know how tricky they can be as opponents.
Yes! Good. Yeah, from the corner, Get in there.
It's like Soccer Saturday all of a sudden.
It is, isn't it?
Sorry. Yeah.
I like it.
I didn't see who scored. He's been mobbed, but brilliant header.
Yeah, Brighton actually I think, I know they're sort of mid-table. They've drawn a lot of games, but I think they've lost. The only team that's lost less games than them are Man City and Chelsea, I think. They've lost the least games out of everybody. So
I was speaking to a Brighton supporter today, and he was not Ray, another one I know. Didn't even know he was a Brighton supporter until football came up. And he said, I'm a bit worried. If we have a good result tonight, we might lose our manager to Everton.
Really?
Yeah. There's talk of him going to Everton.
I mean, he's a great manager, isn't he, Graham Potter?
Yeah, he's terrific.
Brilliant. He's brilliant. And I mean,
Everton are a mess, though, aren't they? I mean, like a complete...
He ain't going to go to Everton.
No, I can't see him leaving Brighton, where he's doing a great job. He's got a really cushy job there. They're not going to sack him anytime soon.
No.
To go to Everton, who are in a complete mess, and see the change.
If he stays where he is, he could be next England manager.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think if he's not the next England manager, I mean, I've said this before, and I'm going to stick by it. I still believe he's going to be the next the first English manager ever to win the Premier League, because I think he will go to one of the big clubs eventually at some stage, whether it's Arsenal, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's Man United. I think he'll get one of them big jobs, and I think he'll go on and win the Premier League with them. So that's how highly I think he is as a coach and a manager. So hopefully, he might be at Arsenal one day. You never know. Maybe he's the guy to take Arsenal to glory in a few years. Maybe when he's had a bit more experience somewhere else, perhaps. Because Arteta's not going to last forever. No manager does, and he'll need replacing. Potter's young and he's got a lot of potential, and they're doing really well. But we'll see what happens with that maybe in the future. Tom says there, he said he thought he came out and said he didn't want it. Well, he's going to say that, isn't he? He's going to say that when they got a game tonight. He's not going to turn around and add fuel to the fire, is he? I suppose it's before they play Chelsea. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'll be surprised if he goes to Everton, because they are in a complete mess, aren't they? They've been in a mess for a long time. And I don't think
not when they played us.
Well, they were a mess then, but we just made
they were a mess that night until they kicked off.
Yeah, we were a mess. Yeah, definitely. It just seems strange that the only game they've won for about 6 months against us, and overall since then we've played well, haven't we? So it's just crazy, really. But anyway, that's football for you, isn't it? I suppose. I suppose we need to get a score.
Webster.
It was Webster. Well, yeah. If it was a call, it was going to be one of their big defenders. I was thinking maybe Dunk. He gets a few for them, doesn't he?
It was a great header.
Yeah, no, they're dangerous from set pieces, Brighton, actually, which is worrying because we've still got to play them, haven't we? So anyway, we'll see what happens. I mean, Melvin, score prediction for Sunday, Burnley at home. What are you thinking?
2-0 again.
2-0 again. Wow, that'd be a good week, wouldn't it? 2-0 wins, a trip to Wembley, back in the top 4. Wow. Haven't things turned around for us? We were all a bit down in the dumps a little while ago, weren't we? And now suddenly we're dreaming of Wembley and top 4. Adam, what are you thinking for Sunday?
3-1.
3-1. That would be all right. Yeah, 3-1. 3-1 would be good. Dorsey, what are you thinking?
3-0. I'm confident.
Oh, that's a bold prediction. I like them ones. 3-0. That looks good.
I fancy some goals.
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, when we play Burnley, generally there isn't that many goals, is there? We do seem to win, but we generally win by 1 goal here and there, don't we? It's one of them sort of games usually against them. Even at home, we tend to not beat them. I know it was at 5-0 in Wenger's last game, but other than that, it's generally quite tight. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking maybe 2-0 seems to be a good score for this game. I can't see Burnley scoring. They're just not scoring any goals anyway. And I say now they've sold Chris Wood, I think we'll probably win 2-0, and that'll be nice. Tom says, I reckon we'll batter Burnley. I'll go 4-0. Well, he's even more confident. 4-0. Well, 4-0 will be good. I'm not quite sure if we will. They're quite difficult to score against Burnley, aren't they? They don't concede a lot of goals. They don't score a lot. So I think it's going to be a little bit tighter than that. And Tom says they're talking about Potter again. Why would he? I wouldn't want that job. But yeah, trust them to beat us. Eddie missed a shocker. I know he did. That was a bad miss. The Eddie in a header from about 2 yards at the post against Everton. But anyway, that's in the past. We can forget that and look ahead to what's going to be hopefully an exciting week. You know, semi-final, second leg coming up on Thursday. Hopefully, and of course, the Premier League game against Burnley. Lots and lots to look forward to, and we've all predicted 2 good wins as well. So we're going to be enjoying the weekend. I'm sure it's going to be good. Looking ahead to the show next week, we should have a lot of good things to talk about, hopefully. So that'll be good. Obviously, we're looking forward to Thursday. So yeah, let's hope the game's on. I'll say I'll be amazed now, wouldn't you, Melvin, if they called it off at this late stage?
Yeah, I don't know. You say for the travelling fans, Liverpool fans, no.
Yeah, they'd be. Yeah, they're sure they've got to play it now, haven't they? At this late stage.
I would have heard about something before now, I think.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I still think there's a doubt about Sunday, but anyway, let's hope that's on as well. It does seem like ages since we've watched football. I think it's because it's not been regular, has it? You know, we had the Wolves game called off, and then we played Man City, and then the Forest game, and then obviously Liverpool was off, and then Liverpool, the other game was on, and then Tottenham was off, and it seems to be a little bit stop-start, doesn't it? There's not been any kind of flow to it anymore, and it's a bit frustrating. So let's hope we can get the games back on again. We can keep playing and enjoy what's been, much better performances from Arsenal overall. We'll forget Nottingham Forest. That was hopefully just a one-off, but it's been much better, hasn't it? And I think we've all enjoyed it much more now. Better football that we're playing, and even against the big teams we've shown in the last few weeks that, we can compete with them now. The Man City game was brilliant. The Liverpool game was brilliant. 10 men in both of those games as well, and we competed against the 2 of the top teams in the country. So, things are looking a lot better, aren't they? Let's hope it carries on this week. We get to Wembley and we beat Burnley 4-0, as Tom says. That'd be nice, and we can get back in the top 4, which would be really good. So, yeah, lots to look forward to. So, thank you very much, guys, for coming on. Melvin, as always, a pleasure. Where can people find you?
On Twitter, on the Melvin The Only Way is Arsenal Mark, on this channel, From Where to Dale Square, and also on Mr. Arsenal, Ryan 89. Yeah, thanks again. Really enjoyed it, guys, as always. The clinic always makes me feel better.
It does. It always cheers us up. But it's not been a bad week. 1, because we only played 1 game where we played well, and 2, because everyone's been kind of on our backs since the weekend, which makes it even more enjoyable. So it's been quite a good week for a change. And Adam as well, thanks for coming on. Where can people find you as well?
Thanks for having me back. Sorry about little technical issues earlier. I think it's probably because every single person in my house has got some sort of internet and it's happened again. Anyway, you can find me at Adam792001, Adam Always Arsenal, and here most Tuesdays.
Fantastic. Of course, great to have you back on. And of course, Dorsey as well. There was a comment actually earlier, which I don't think I put on about what great top you've got on as well. I can't remember who put that comment in now. I remember seeing it before. Let's try and find it. Where are we? Oh, there we go. It was Tom actually there. He says great top, Dorsey. Yeah, he is a great top. We've seen your collection actually. You put on Twitter the other day of all your Arsenal shirts. You must have the most Arsenal shirts out of anybody in the whole world actually, which is no.
So I talked to a couple of guys that are also shirt collectors. One of them, I ended up with I did a full stock take basically, and put them all on a spreadsheet so I know exactly what I've got, and I ended up with 88.
Wow.
But the bloke, I suppose he's got 230 something. It's insane.
How can he have that many? Arsenal haven't had that many kits.
Well, he's a proper collector, and he has like 3 or 4 of every shirt: short sleeve, long sleeve, printed, not printed. So yeah, I've got a decent collection, but it's not. It doesn't compare to some people's that are proper collectors. So
you've got some work to do, haven't you? To catch up with him, like wow.
Yeah, I've just missed out on 2 actually on eBay, which I'm not very happy about, but never mind.
Talking about shirts. Remember a few weeks ago I said that I was going to get hold of the ones from my parents from when I was younger.
Yeah.
I got hold of them on the weekends. Got hold of them on Sunday. So there I've got 3 boxes in the garage. I've got to go through from when I was a kid, like kits ranging from about 1986 onwards. So I'm looking forward to digging through those.
Yeah. Do you think I still fit you?
Well, they'll fit my kids, not me.
Do you any of you collect football programs, Arsenal football programs?
I've got loads of those as well.
You know what? I've got a huge box out there which I want to give to somebody that's
what I want to do. I'm potentially moving
can't.
house. I've got back from the 60s.
Yeah.
In my garage for all those years, and the wife wants me, Sarah wants me to throw them away. I can't do that. I'd give them away. So I want to give them to someone that will respect them. I mean, they're not all right in the right order and all that. I've got to sort that out. But what I want to do, I want to give all the ones from now back to, say, 1980. The 60s and 70s one I want to keep. I've got to find out where they are. They're all in. I've got so many of them. As I say, the 60s and 70s I really want to keep because that was when I was first started watching the Arsenal, and that was a bit nostalgic.
Yeah.
But other than that, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's a shame because the programs really do tell a story, don't they? For every game.
They do. Yeah. I used to buy them religiously every game. I stopped buying them sort of recent years, but I used to buy them all the time.
I don't buy them now. I don't buy them now.
The 1980s programs are fantastic. I love the 1980s programs. Some of them were just brilliant. But that'd be a good collection. Actually, you must have some great collections. Tom's there. His mate collects programs. Yeah, I know a few people that collect programs. They say that I think they're only important. I mean, I collect loads of things. I've got all my tickets from games. I've got I haven't got my programs anymore. I lost them all actually. That's one of the problems of getting divorced. You kind of lose a lot of stuff and losing me.
Well, your wife was an Arsenal supporter, Richard.
Well, no, she wasn't. No, she probably made a lot of money on them, though. I don't know. I never saw it. About 4 boxes worth and all. Brilliant. For home and away, everything, cup finals, a lot. I lost them all anyway. That was a shame.
Yeah,
it was a shame. But anyway, but I've still got a lot of tickets and stuff like that. I've still got a lot of stuff, but I mean, I haven't got that many shirts. I've probably only got about 20 Arsenal shirts. So I'm a bit behind. I'm a bit behind the times. I've probably only got 20. I've maybe got 15, if I'm honest, maybe now. So yeah, I need to maybe get a few more shirts as well to catch up a little bit. So I'm getting a few more of the older ones now. I like the 80s shirts. I think they're pretty cool. I've got my 82, 83, the green one. I do like that. I've got the 85 yellow one. I like that as well. So I maybe need to get a few more older ones because they're the best ones for me. I like the 1980s kits. They were pretty cool. So I'll have to maybe improve my collection of them, actually. That's what I might have to do this year. That could be pretty good.
Get your checkbook out then.
Well, yeah, I know they're not cheap. That's definitely true. Terry says there, great show, chaps. Thanks for the great entertainment. See you all soon. Yeah, we'll be. And as Tom says there, you're on tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow for the women's game, the Continental Cup quarter-final against Man United. He said they've already made 3 signings this week. The girls want to move. Yeah, they have actually. You know, well, the men are messing around trying to get deals done. The women have gone out and bought 3 players this week. One of the best strikers in European football, so that's great news. A couple of good defenders as well. So, yeah, I'll be covering the game tomorrow. I think it's 7:15 kickoff. I think it's a strange time, so I'll probably go live about 7 o'clock for that. Arsenal Man United women in the Continental Cup quarter-final. So another big cup game on Wednesday, a big cup game Thursday. There's a big league games on Sunday for the women as well, and obviously the Arsenal game. So lots coming up. Hopefully they'll all be on this week. Tom says there, you guys all went quiet. To refresh. Oh, right. Okay. I don't know if it was our end or your end. Probably your end, and if you had to refresh and it's working again. But anyway, so yeah, basically that's the Tuesday clinic for this week. Some good stuff to talk about there. Some entertaining things, even though it wasn't as many matches as we'd like to have been talking about. But anyway, we've got hopefully 2 games coming up this week, which big games. Let's hope we get good results. And I say I'll be back tomorrow night for the women's watch along. Against Man United, that is going to be a good game as well. So hopefully that should go ahead. Again, I think we would have heard if it wasn't by now, because obviously the Arsenal women didn't play at the weekend either. That was called off. That wasn't Arsenal called that one off. That was Reading. But you never know at the minute there. You can't predict any game going ahead of the way things are. You know, it's a shame really, because you look forward to stuff and then it goes away. But anyway, hopefully all the games are going to have to get played at some point. So we'll be busy later, won't we? We've all got to fit all the games in midweek and whatever. So it's going to be fun, isn't it, at some stage? But anyway, that'll all be good. Tom says there, good to catch up. See you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow, Tom. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everybody else in the chat as well. Terry, of course, good to see Terry in the chat again. Mark as well. Rajandra, as always. and a few hours earlier on as well. Russ, of course, popped in as well in the early, which was nice to see Russ as well. So obviously, thanks to all you guys. Thanks to Melvin, as always, to Adam, of course, and to Dorsey. I say no criminal records on this channel, on this show. We're all, we're all above board here. So if you want to avoid, the criminals, then you'll be all right here because we're fine here. We're all right. So this is what we need. So yeah, thanks all you guys for watching as well. So I'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock for the women. Then Thursday for the obviously Liverpool game. That's 8:30. Is that 7:45 kickoff? That isn't it? So I'll probably go live at 7:30 for that. Yeah, 7:45. And then of course Friday we got the women's show at 7:30. And then Sunday, hopefully 2 watch-alongs, the Arsenal against Burnley at 2 o'clock. That game starts, and then the Arsenal women playing Man City away, a big game that in the WSL that kicks off at 6:45. So loads coming up on the channel. So please like and share and subscribe. And we've had another comment in there from Rajendra, says, see you all. Come on the guys. Come on the guys. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, Rajendra, for the women. I know you like watching them as well. So yeah, brilliant stuff. Thanks to you guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Another Tuesday clinic done. A good week. Let's hope for a really good week and look forward to 2 games. Hopefully that's going to be exciting and we'll get 2 good wins. And we'll be at Wembley hopefully by this time next week. We can look back or look ahead as well to going to Wembley. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So that is the Tuesday clinics. Thanks to Melvin, Adam, and Dorsey. We will see you very soon. I'll be back tomorrow. Tuesday clinics back next week. Come on, you Gunners. Come on.